it's wonderful to be with you this evening. And, we've worked together in relation to you coming on my challenge and attended some of the events that I've hosted and those that I've held. And I wondered if you would be kind enough just to share some of your experience around what's been the impact of you discovering the impact of listening and deepening your skills further.
Thank you for that, Jane. That's a great question. And, there really has been a number of impacts for me, both professionally with my business and in my home life as well. I always used to think I was a reasonable listener, but became evident during the first listening challenge that I did with you back in, I think it was May, of really how far away I was from where I'd like to be. So the whole concept of not interrupting and holding that space for the other person to, really download everything that they're thinking about or want to get across, it is so important. And it's not just a case of not interrupting, it's listening to some of the words that aren't being said, and you can affirm what the person is saying, and you're creating that safe space. So you're giving yourself the chance to understand the person better, but it's like a gift to the other person of allowing them that time to really download what it is that they're trying to get across. And quite often what I found is you really can allow the other person to come up with the answer to the challenge that they might have. They've normally got the answer within. And one of the things that I learned from you was the importance of open questions. And I use open questions a lot when I'm interviewing senior level candidates from a recruitment point of view. But outside of the work environment, if you're asking people open questions, it does really get them thinking and give them the opportunity to tap into the thoughts that are in their mind that they might not normally be able to articulate very well in a conversation. So there's so many ways that listening has impacted me.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. And I'm so grateful for you sharing your own journey. What I sense is that as you became more aware of the impact of listening, the deeper you took it in terms of honing those skills. So I'm wondering, in your experience, Jeff, why do you think listening is critical as a skill that we could invest in for ourselves, in our life, in business, and perhaps in our community? Why do you think it's critical?
Well, a number of different reasons, really, Jane. I think the whole empathy piece is really key, and to properly have empathy for someone or something, you need to understand it, or you need to understand them. And you can only really do that by listening properly, and that's not just listening to hear. I heard an interview or a podcast with Simon Sinek recently, and he was describing you have the act of listening, which is listening to the sound, but then the magic happens when you know the art of listening, and that's really where you've come in and sort of filled in those gaps and joined up the dots between just hearing somebody and really truly listening to them, to understand them, and to clarify back to them sometimes that what they've said you do understand, just giving them a brief summary and then asking other open questions. What else do they think about this topic, or what else can they tell me about how they're feeling, for example. So there's a number of ways, but the empathy theme is really strong, and listening is at the root of that. Really, you've got to have that first.
Wonderful. I love the fact that you raise that distinction between active listening and empathetic listening. And we often hear of active listening. And as you said, I love the fact that Simon's new video describes the art of listening. So helping people connect with themselves more as we continue to listen with empathy. And so I wonder if others who are watching this short conversation of ours, Jeff, what has stood out for you on your listening journey that you perhaps would love to recommend to others in terms of something that's struck you that would be of benefit for them to focus on in deepening their listening skills and the art of listening, as you said so gracefully?
Yeah, and that's probably an easy answer, because outside of the empathy piece, and using listening skills to maximum effect in the work that I do, I think one of the most profound benefits for me has actually been learning the art of listening to myself. And this was just a concept that was just alien to me more than 6 months ago. So I found it fascinating of the way, where sometimes you might have a negative thought in your mind, or you're uncertain about something, and it's okay having that thought, but sometimes I know I haven't known how to deal with that thought in the past. So actually learning how to listen to your thoughts, and then challenge, if it's a negative assumption, you challenge that negative assumption that you have of yourself, and then you start asking yourself maybe an open-ended question. Well, why do I feel like that? Or why do I feel uncomfortable about that? And you can process that, and generally I found, not all the time, but 99% of the time, I can find a solution to get myself unstuck from whatever it is that I'm struggling with. So listening to other people is absolutely key in business and in life in general. But I think for all of us to get to a place in our own lives where we've got peace and harmony, I think being able to listen to ourselves, it really is magical. And I'm so pleased that I'm currently on my second Listening to Liberate challenge with you. I'm not going to be the finished article for some time yet, so there's a whole world of other skills and deepening of my listening skills that I'm looking forward to. But I think that'll be one of the key areas that I think people can take away. And I just like to recommend highly your book, your Listening to Liberate challenges, and the work that you do in general. It's just phenomenal.
Wow, goodness. Thank you, Jeff. I'm so appreciative of you and the courage that you display in diving in and leaning in to what I call is a courage building skill. I think listening takes courage. It takes courage to listen to what other people will share with you, and also to notice our own reactions to that. And I love the fact you talk about learning to listen to yourself, because I think that to be great listeners of others, learning to listen to ourselves with compassion rather than critically with sort of in compact is a place that we can all start. And I think we're all, learning on this journey to make the world a better place. And listening is one of the areas, I hope, in which we can do that. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and the impact listening has had in your life and business. And I'm thrilled to continue our journey together. And so thank you so much for your time together. Was there any last word that you would love to share?
Start listening. Grab a copy of your book and get on a Listening to Liberate challenge. It really is. It really is magical.
Beautiful. Thank you.